It's just so great to see everybody here. And I'd like to say that we're all in this together. What is happening on the world right now? And the reason we're all in this together is really because we are all one from the same source. We are all connected inwardly. We are all drops from the same ocean of God consciousness. When I was a little boy, my mother was very proud of her diamond engagement ring. It had a glitter to it. You could see rainbows in it. And I said, but Mom, look out at the grass, the lawn outside. There is a drop of dew on every blade of grass. And there is a rainbow coming from each drop that is just as beautiful as your diamond ring. In fact, I thought that the dew was more beautiful. And the amazing thing was, it appeared magically every morning. The dew would condense from the moisture in the air on each blade of grass. There would be one pristine drop of dew that would give off a rainbow. That to me was a great miracle. But even greater than that miracle is the miracle of each of us, because each of us is a condensation of God consciousness. And the physical body, you would say, is the blade of grass. Walt Whitman wrote a beautiful, beautiful long poem called Leaves of Grass, in which he compared each of us to leaves of grass, whose numbers are nearly infinite. So each of us is a condensation of God consciousness. And the I am presence is the actual condensation from the great source which is beyond name and form, beyond time and space, beyond duality. But that condenses first as the I am presence. And you see a picture of that behind me. And that is very much what it looks like, but you cannot really paint the colors, which are so intense. And I have seen that I am presence on a couple of occasions, very much like you see the artist's painting behind me. And that I am presence is an emanation of the all that is, cosmic consciousness, condensed like a drop of dew into your I am presence. And that I am presence sends a tube of light down, creates another body, an etheric body, which you can call the Christ self. And it is with you all the time, waking or sleeping, that you can call into action. And that Christ self transmits that tube of light down through the top of your head, and it's anchored in the center of your chest. Not in the heart, but closer under the sternum. You can feel it. Like if I say, who are you? You go, who, me? You don't point to your shoulder or to your head, or, you feel intuitively that yourself is anchored in the center of your chest. And that is what in Sanskrit they call the Jyoti, the sacred flame, or the I am flame, the threefold flame of love, wisdom, and power that's in the center of your being. And by turning your attention to that presence in the center of your chest, you can go back up, like going up an elevator, to the higher centers and to your Christ self, and actually to the I am presence. And from the I am presence, you can go to the source of all that is. You can go beyond time and space, beyond duality, into cosmic consciousness. And in that cosmic consciousness, we are all one. That's the amazing thing. I say we are all in this together because we are all drops of the same ocean. There appears to be an Atlantic Ocean and a Pacific Ocean and the Indian Ocean and the Bay of Bengal and all these separate oceans, but they're all connected. They're really all just ocean. And even oceans inside the earth circulate to the outside, and from the outside to the inside. So if you take 1,000,000 drops out of that ocean, they're all made of the same substance and all connected. So we are all connected in our hearts. So as you feel love for yourself, that love is going out to everyone. That's why the greatest service you can do right now is to love yourself and send that love out to everyone. You are affecting everyone around you right now during this call. What you are experiencing is going out to the people who live near you, who live in your city, who live in your country, in fact, to the whole planet Earth. We are changing planet Earth at this moment. We are transmuting the negative consciousness into positive, the material consciousness into spiritual consciousness. So we all agreed to be here at this point in time and space to experience what we are experiencing. And instead of dwelling on the negative, we can put our attention on the positive. With our attention on God, that is the greatest service we can render. And we are affecting the whole planet. As we do this meditation, which we're going to do shortly, you become like a Wi-Fi router transmitting God consciousness to the entire earth. So I have called on the Ascended Masters to be with us. And I actually feel not so much I called on them, but they called on us to render this service to humanity by inspiring us to gather together. We are doing a service for them, as well as for ourselves, because what you send out is what comes back to you. If you want love, give love. If you want compassion, feel compassion for yourself and feel compassion for others.
Okay.
I would like to say, some people have criticized me for mentioning the teachings of India, but really all the great spiritual teachings have come from there, actually, even Christianity. But in the West, our culture has become church-centered, which has maintained a positive focus. But we need to go beyond that to actually experience God within ourselves, which I think is why we're all gathered together here. So there is no person, no guru, no book, no church that has the absolute truth for everyone at all times, that they can only point the way. They are arrows pointing the way. And that is why I suggested to look at the book, The Impersonal Life, and I gave the link so you could download it or read it online. And as you read that book, it really guides you inward to connect with the God presence that you are. And that is what I would like to do now, is to go inward so we can experience the reality of God within ourselves, God as ourselves, to go beyond duality, go beyond time and space, into the pure cosmic consciousness, which is our basic nature. So if you'd like, you can close your eyes. And you can just feel the in-breath and the out-breath, the rise and fall of your chest. That will help slow down your mind. Just breathe naturally. Your body will regulate your breath. Just feel the rise and fall. It's very simple. It's the mantra that is going all the time. And as your mind slows down, you realize there is a space between the thoughts. It is the thoughts that keep you linked to your body and to your ego. But as you slow down the mind, just like if you had a little puppy that wants your attention all the time, you have to discipline it and make it sit still. And feel, I am not my body. I am not my mind. I am not my emotions. I am the observer who is observing my emotions, my thoughts, my body. So try to identify with that observer. Imagine that you are in a room that is created out of your own consciousness. With your eyes closed, you can see that room, and you are a ball of consciousness in the center of that room. And that ball of consciousness is expanding. Expanding beyond the room. Your consciousness is expanding beyond the town, beyond the city in which you live. Expanding, expanding, expanding outward. Your consciousness is expanding beyond the boundaries of your country and even beyond the earth. That ball of consciousness is expanding into space, and we see we are all one in consciousness, one with the source. As you start to emerge from cosmic consciousness, you become aware that you are observing the consciousness. And in that observation, you may hear the sound which sounds something like Om, but which cannot be spoken. It can be approximated by the Indian instrument, the tambura, the drone, that sounds something like Om, but it is transcendental. It is the sound of consciousness, wisdom, and bliss, called Satchidananda. So as you become aware of yourself as a being consciousness of consciousness, you can express yourself as an individual ray of God from the great central sun. And you can express that as the statement, I am. I takes you to the source, a tube of consciousness connecting you with divine will. And then you can say, am, the divine love that gives form to the consciousness. So in whatever your native language is, when you say, I am, you call forth God consciousness. Whatever you say after I am is what you bring into being. But it is important to say I am from the I, from the God conscious center, not from the personality or the ego. Some people use the I am affirmations to create what they want. And that is fine as long as what you want is also what your I am presence wants. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a bunch of junk you don't know what to do with. So, as God beings, we can use this I am to bring peace and love on earth. So let us say, as we are still connected with the source, I am peace. Just feel that radiating from your heart out into the world. I am the presence of God radiating peace to earth and to all God's children who are my brothers and sisters. I am peace on earth. I am the peace which passeth all human understanding. I am gratitude. I give thanks to be in embodiment at this time Out of the great sea of eternity, I have come forth at this moment in space and time and duality to be present on a planet called Earth, among Earth humanity, to experience exactly what I'm experiencing and to grow from it, to use this opportunity to become a master that I may better help humanity. It's like a movie we volunteered to be extras in, except we are not extras, we are all key characters. We are all heroes and heroines in this great movie of God. So you can choose to play your part well, which is what becoming a master is. Being aware that it is a movie, that it will someday dissolve, but also it is a movie you chose to create, to be a part of, to help others and to grow yourself. So let us give thanksgiving and gratitude that as divine unlimited beings, we chose to take on this particular role, that God in infinite grace has allowed us to be present in the illusion of not being God, so that we can have the joy of remembering once again that we are God. Just feel that. I am the presence of God at this point in space and time. The ascended masters are our older brothers and sisters. Jesus, Saint Germain, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, White Tara, they are all other God aspects of ourselves in this great schoolroom of life. I feel the heart, I feel your heart, each and every one of you. I feel your love and your gratitude. And I send my love and gratitude to you, because I am a part of you and you are a part of me in the great sea of God consciousness, the Father, Mother, God, of which we are one, in which we are one. Just remember, a call to any ascended master is a call to all of them. The ascended master who can best help you is the one that will respond. They might not come in person, they might not come visibly or even audibly, but they are with you. And especially your own I am presence. You are connected at every moment with your God self. Your I am presence hears your every word, your every thought and feeling. So turn to that source for what you need and what you want. Again, I love you, and I'm going to end the meditation here. For those of you who wish to continue meditating, you may log out of the session, and there may be some who wish to ask a question. I will stay online a little bit longer if someone wishes to say something or ask a question. And I love you and bless you.
Peter. So
Yeah.
if you have a question, please type in the chat box your question for Peter.
Mhm.
A question from Maria, I believe. She says, "What is the meaning of individuality? This has been on my mind for a while."
Well, individuality is an illusion. It's a very persistent illusion. So it's like, why does an artist, every artist paints a slightly different painting, even of the same flower, they look different. So we chose to manifest as individual beings for the greater glory of God, because God did not want to be just one type of flower. Even a rose is very beautiful. I'm very glad that we have sunflowers and we have lilies and we have orchids. So God manifested as the many for a reason. And each of you is your own particular type of flower, which you should get to know better.
That's great, Peter. Thank you.
Mm.
Fatima has a question. Are our dreams a connection to the divine, or are they mostly our minds working through experiences?
The mind is only one aspect of who we are, the conscious mind, which is very connected with the ego and the body. So we have to go beyond that human mind, which is the purpose of this meditation, to transcend the limited ego-centered mind to the mind that is the observer of all. These things are hard to put into words. In fact, the Tao Te Ching says the truth that can be spoken or written is not the truth. It's only an approximation. So only within can the ultimate truth be realized. And in a sense, the times we are in now, when we cannot go out and socialize as much, are ideal for becoming a master, for achieving God consciousness. So we could take advantage of this. It's like you signed up to be in a monastery or a convent for a particular period of time to become really liberated, to achieve mastery. So it's good if we could, instead of complaining, to try to take advantage of the situation and try to connect with others inwardly. Even on this Thanksgiving that is coming up, you can think of a friend you haven't talked to in a long time, you can actually call them, or you can think of them, or take a photograph of them and send them love, and they will get it in one form or another.
A couple more questions
Sure.
here. In addition to Fatima's question earlier, she says, I was referring to dreams while we sleep. Where are we going while we sleep and dream?
Well, it depends. It depends. You can go many different places. Now, if before you go to sleep, you eat a pepperoni pizza, as that pepperoni is going through your digestive tract, it's stimulating your mind. And that may take you into what's called the astral plane, which is populated by beings who are not enlightened. They're simply not in physical bodies anymore. And some of them are confused. Some of them are pretending to be masters. There are also thought forms, like if there is a horror movie that you watch on YouTube, you're creating thought forms. Or maybe your neighbor has watched a horror movie and they created thought forms. And when you go into the astral world, you may see those thought forms and perceive them to be real, and they can be very frightening. However, if you go to bed on an empty stomach, or you have eaten a sattvic meal, that's another, a harmonious meal, you can leave your body and go into higher worlds, to higher frequency planes where there are enlightened beings who can help you. And you can even go into the consciousness where you merge with your Christ self or your higher mental body. And you can go to be with the ascended masters and receive training, or you can go as a master and help others. So you are all masters on some other level where you may be helping other people various places on the earth. So we are all living in multiple frequencies, multiple bodies simultaneously. And when you go to sleep at night, you can consciously go forth and be active in those other frequencies to help people. So what you can do before you go to sleep is meditate and ask to go to merge with your Christ self and be of service to those who need you, and to be invincibly protected. You can ask Archangel Michael with the sword of blue flame to protect you before you go to sleep at night, and to go forth and be of service to others. My first year in Mount Shasta, when I studied these teachings from Pearl, I would remember every night where I went, and the experiences were so many and so amazing that I had to make the call not to remember them, because during the next day, I would be remembering being in Ascended Master retreats or doing things in the human world, and it would interfere with what I was trying to do during the day. So now I make the call only to remember what is important to me to remember. So I hope that answers your question. Mhm.
Thank you, Peter. Why would it be better to invoke Violet Tara Goddess when you could just invoke the violet flame?
This is perhaps one of the reasons Saint Germain asked me to write about Violet Tara. It's hard for people to visualize God. I want to call God into action, but what does God look like? If I could see God, and know what God looked like, it would be easier for me to invoke God. So this is why we have the thousands and thousands of gods in all the different religions, because people like a form. Now, the Jews were told not to worship God in any form. That is great. If you can achieve God consciousness, then you can be the violet flame. So that is why Saint Germain gave violet Tara as one form which you can manifest as. So violet Tara can, it's hard for some people to know what the violet flame looks like or how it should look, and wonder if they're doing it correctly. But you can, it's easy to visualize a beautiful woman in violet robes emanating beautiful violet light and call for her to come forth. It's a form that you can visualize over a city. But you could also see yourself as a being of violet fire. So I could say, I am Violet Tara, or I am the presence of Saint Germain over the White House, sending violet light down into the White House and into the capital of the United States and to all governments around the world. I am Violet Tara, come forth, sending the fire of forgiveness through those governments and through those world leaders. I did this months ago over the White House. I sent it down into Donald Trump. I sent the violet fire down into him. I imagined I was above the White House as Violet Tara, sending the violet fire down into him. And I asked that he would perceive it directly. The next day, he gave a news conference and he said, I think violet light could be used to heal people. And of course, the press jumped all over him, said he was crazy. They left out the last remark, which he said it should be validated by doctors and scientists. But I thought, of all the things he could possibly say, why did he mention violet light the day after I sent him violet fire? So this was a blessing for me, because I realized that this was not just something taking place in my mind, that I actually did transmute violet light and it was seen by somebody. There are people even have taken pictures of violet Tara. Someone was climbing Mount Shasta and they took a picture, and to the north you could see this goddess of violet light over the Shasta Valley. So it is nice to have a form for your visualization. So it's nice that we have this painting. There are many other paintings, all similar, where you see your higher self as this being, a ball of light emanating these beautiful rainbow colors. So you can think of yourself as that if you wish. But the important thing is, however you see yourself, it's the combination of divine mind, divine love, and the spoken word. It could be the silent word too, but those are the union of the love, wisdom, and power centers. So the way you learn about it is by doing. So call God into action, whatever form suits you best. I'd like to thank you for being present and know that we are all connected on the inner planes. And the Ascended Masters are with us. They're aware of you. And they love you and are there for you. So many blessings.